Okay, now I'm calling you. No, as you guys said, it will get called child method. So output of child method, right? It will give a child method. It will get called child method. So let's execute this program. You can click here to run the program. You can select the program here. So, or you can do right click, run as Java program. I am from the fashion bike. Right? It means child methods get called. My question is it, let's say I have a int speed equal to 100 and child also I have int speed 120. Okay. Now when I say b dot, okay, source b dot, what is this? When I say b dot speed, which method will get called? Sorry, which what is the output of this?
120 local variable will get called.
Could you please repeat?
120, I think, local variable will get called.
Okay. Anyone else? Raghu 120. Okay. Others? Srini, Sunil, Akash. Okay.
So 120 child class and the passion class.
Okay. Let's look at. What has printed? 100. What has printed? 100, which is parent, which is
Parent reference.
parent variable. So what does it mean here? The methods are get called from the child reference, child object, but the variables are get called from the parent one. Understand?
Okay.
Ravi, once and I got confused. These are not local variables, right?
These are not local variables. See here. It's a
These are
global variable.
instance variables.
Correct. If you have speed here, let's assume that if you have speed here in main method, in the local method.
If okay,
Now
inside Ron also we can write it. That Ron method.
because this is not the speed is not part of this. This is a different class.
Okay.
Speed is a local method right here in child class
Correct.
in 130 speed.
Variable.
So it should call sorry local
Main
variable.
method.
Correct. I'm not calling that variable, no. I'm calling b dot speed. I'm not calling just a speed. If I call just speed, it will come this local variable. If I call
If inside Ron method, if we keep that speed, that 120 will come, right?
which run method, here you want to specify, here you say
Child,
here.
yeah, child class. Yes. No. That declaration inside that Ron method we can do.
Here you want to do. Okay.
Yeah.
What it is printed? But you forgot about this.
Printed.
This is the method where you are printing in the local variable, but this is our
Okay.
b dot. We are looking for the b dot speed.
Okay.
Understand? So let's
Yeah.
look at here the same. This here is also explain the same thing. Just come down. Java runtime polymorphism with the data member. Method is overridden, not the data members. So runtime polymorphism cannot be achieved by data members. Understand
Okay.
what it is trying to say? For through methods, yes, it is possible, but through data members, it is not possible. In the
Okay.
example given below, both the classes have the data member speed limit, but whatever we have explained just now, the same. We have a speed limit here and the speed limit here. When you say that object dot, it always calls the parent only. Okay? And you can have a multi-level like animal, dog, and baby dog. And when you created an animal, a1 equal to new animal, a2 equal to dog, a3 equal to thing. So it'll always calls the respective methods only. Respective methods. A dot first method has the eating. Animal has a eating. And second one is eating fruits. The third one is drinking milk. The same way here, the first one is A1, second one is A2, third one is A3. First one is referring animal, second one is referring dog, third one is referring baby dog. When you call the methods respectively, it will call eat, drink, eating fruits and drink. Understand? Yeah. So when you create a multi-level inheritance, you have an animal, you have a dog and a baby dog extended the dog, baby dog extended the dog, and you have overridden here the method. Okay, and see inside the baby dog, if you have your own method, inside the baby dog, if you have your own method, it could have called that method as well. Okay, so try this example. It's pretty simple. It's called runtime polymorphism through inheritance, overriding and upcasting as well. Overriding and upcasting. Okay, so let's look at I didn't explain, I think, this keyword. Did I explain that this keyword? Constructor chaining. Constructor chaining. Let's take an example. I'll explain with example, then we'll go to theory. Okay, what is the parent class in all the classes in Java? What is the parent class?
Object.
Exactly, the object class is the parent class for the Java. Even though my this demo class is not referring, extending any class, but still the object class is a parent, a top level class in Java. Okay, let's say here this demo, let's say I'll also keep it public, not to worry about it. We have seen method overloading. We have seen method overloading. Guys, yes or no?
Yes, yes, we have done it.
Method overloading. The same way this is called constructor overloading. Constructor overloading. These are simple examples to demonstrate how they work. So what is Suman? I didn't get you. I don't buy now.
Ravi, no, actually it was I am sending to Santosh.
Okay, okay. So no parameter, one parameter, two parameters. Now I can call this constructor, this demo td equal to new. I can call like this. One parameter, two parameters. Here I'll pass 100. Here I'll pass 100 comma 200. Now what is the output of this? When I compile this, three constructor will get called. No parameter, one parameter, two parameter, because I have created three different objects. This is clear, right? How to create an object? This is clear, right?
Yes.
This is how we'll call the constructors. Let's assume that I want to call from this constructor, from no parameter constructor, I want to call one parameter constructor. From one parameter constructor, I want to call two parameter constructor. How can I do that? So this one we can achieve by this. And if you want to call first one parameter constructor, you have to pass one value. Let me print here. Let me print the values here. Okay. Now if I want to call the one parameter constructor, I have to pass one parameter. And if I want to call two parameter constructor, I have to pass two parameters. I have to pass two parameters. Let's see this. I have called this demo. Okay, then what happened? This is called one parameter constructor. The print is not called at, okay, the print is not at called. This called this dot one parameter. As soon as it's called this dot one parameter, I mean this with the one parameter, it went to this line number 10. From the line number 10, in the line number 10 constructor, I'm calling two parameter constructor. That's why first it is executed the print method of two lines, I mean two parameters, then it's executed one parameter, then it's executed no parameter. Understand, guys? Understand? So this is called constructor chaining. You are calling a constructor from one constructor to another constructor. Okay, this is within the class. Suppose I want to call my parent constructor. Suppose I want to call my parent constructor.
Can you see once again that output how it came?
I'll show you.
Previous output.
It's very simple to understand. Okay, I'll show you that. I'll show you, Raghu, 1 second. What happened? So you can look at here in the main method. In the main method, what you did? This demo td equal to new this demo. As soon as the line number 36 executed, it will go to line number 17. Correct? The line number 18, I'm calling this one single parameter constructor, correct? As soon as I'm calling single parameter constructor,
Yes.
the single parameter constructor is calling double parameter, then it will move here. So here it is
Okay.
completed the system.out.println I am from 2 parameter, and it's printed the value. It's printed the value. Then cursor will go back, right? Because from where I have him called, I'll go back. Then I am from 1 parameter. This is all executed. Then I'll go back, right? Then this is 1 parameter constructor. This is no parameter, no param constructor. Understand the output of the example?
So it will take. Yeah, yeah, I understood. It will take as a method. This
Yes.
one, right?
So when you
This of
this, yeah,
already.
yeah, it will consider as a method. It's not a method, it's a constructor calling. You should not say it's a method because that's a
Okay.
different. Okay.
Okay.
Now I want to call my parent
Yeah.
class. I want to call my parent class constructor. How can I call? How can I call? Let's look at here. Let's look at here. Super. Super. If you want to call the no parameter constructor, you should not give anything. Or if you want to call with some value, I mean uh, parameter constructor, you have to pass some value. What happened? Super we have no.
You have to extend.
Oh, sorry, correct. Okay. Now when I said super 1000, I'm have extended the parent class and I'm calling this specific. Okay. Let's go ahead and execute this. Now see here. First this is get called, then this is get called, then this is get called. Now I'm calling here super by passing 1000. Then it's the cursor will move to line number 9. The line number 9. So there I am from the parent 1 parameter constructor, then it's printed the value. Then the cursor will back here only, no? System out.println. It has printed 100 and 200. Then it's move. Then it's move. This is how we'll call. And one more thing we need to understand here. In the constructor, if you are calling any constructor, it can be a super constructor or it can be current class constructor. You have to use this or super. If you want to call a super constructor, you have to use super. If you want to call the same class constructor, you have to use this. If you observe here, this and super is the first line in the constructor. That's the first line in the constructor. Let's assume that, suppose if I keep system.out.println here, then I try to write this or super, it will not allow me. It will not allow me. Constructor call must be the first statement in the constructor. Not only this, super also same. Super also same. Either this or super has to be the first statement of the constructor. Understand, guys? Understand?
Yeah.
Suppose if anyone asks you that, call the current
Yes.
class constructor and call the super class constructor from the same constructor, you cannot do, because super and this should be the first line of the statement. So we cannot keep two things in the first line. Correct? What super is saying? Constructor call must be first line of the, first statement in the constructor. So you cannot call both at a time. You cannot call both at a time. Understand, guys? Okay. Either this or
Yeah.
super has to be first line of the constructor. Okay, so I think you guys can understand what is the this keyword, and you guys can go through this. Okay, this always represents the current class object. Okay, you guys can have a look on this. You guys just go through this document. It's help you. It gets you more and detailed information. This is a pretty simple keyword. It is a this says the current class. Okay, so we have seen sometime before also I have explained this dot id, this dot name equal to assigning the values we have discussed. Okay, must be first statement. You cannot give this, and you can see here how internally converts. The internally converts this way after compiling. After compiling, it will converts like this. Okay, it's actually calling this dot m current class m. Okay, so this is about this keyword. You just have a look about. Understand about this? Any doubts? Yep. Let's talk about the static. Static is the most important thing. We already discussed about the static, and I want to give one more information because the static is more important. So if they want to ask, if you in your profile, if they see you have a Java, and if you say I have worked a long back and I just have a knowledge, you say, then the guy immediately asks you to try to understand how much Java you know, like what is a constructor and what is a static keyword. Okay, this kind of what is abstraction, what is inheritance, this kind of questions they will ask you to understand how much Java you know. Okay, what is a static keyword? What is a static keyword?
Which makes a method or variable only to that class,
Class level. Okay,
available to that class.
class level. So instead of that, so when we create a variable, it will create a common memory
First
for
one, yeah.
all the variables. I think someone is watching TV.
Yeah, we can't change the value of the static thing.
No, we can change the static value of the static. So who said we cannot change the value of the static? We can change it. But only difference is,
Okay.
if you declare a variable as a static variable, that variable allocates the common memory for all the objects. Let's say I have a student. Okay, I have 100 students. 100 students have their own name, their own ID, their own fee details, their own class and all, right? What they are studying. But if I say on static variable, which is a college name or school name,
Okay.
when I change the school name, it will impact on all those students. It will impact on all the students. Let's look at here.
Yes.
So the static variable can be implemented variable level, method level, block level, and nested class level. Okay, the static variable, if you declare a variable by static, it's known as a static variable. The static variable can be used refer the common property for all the objects. This is very much important. This is very much important. It will create a common memory for all the people, I mean all the objects of that specific class. Okay, the static variable gets the memory only once in a class area at the time of the compiling. I mean when the time of class loads. When you declare a static, no, only one memory. But when you declare a non-static variables, for each object it will create a separate memory. For each object is create a separate memory. But if you create a static variable, only one memory for all the students. Let's same example, roll number and name and the college name. So if you created 100 students, yes, 100 roll numbers, 100 names will be created, but only one college will be created if it is a static. Here it is not a static, but if it is a static, only one college name will be created. If you have 100 students, 100 roll numbers, 100 names will be created. But if it is a static variable, only one college static memory will be allocated. And you can see here the memory. Yeah, this is what I was referring. Let's say student 1, student 2, student 3, and so on. They have 100 students. So 100 IDs will be there, 100 names will be there, 100 the objects will be there. Okay. When it comes to the college, which is a static, only one variable, these guys are referring, all 100 will be referring the same area. Only one object will be created. Understand, guys? This is the one we
Yeah.
discussed in the early classes, will in the variables, different type of variables also. Understand? Raghu, to correct you, we can change the value. Okay, so don't say we cannot change the static variable. No, we can change the static variable. Only constant variable we cannot change. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
and you can see, you can execute this program
Okay.
to make sure that whether how many memory sets creating. So if you didn't declare the int count as a static, if you didn't declare as a static, so you'll get this kind of output. Every time 1 1 1 1 1 only, because every time how many objects you create, every time it has its own memory. Every time it has its own memory. This example we have seen, it's like not actually the same example, we have seen the different one. So if you take that is a static variable, because it maintains the common memory. One guy is already incremented. When the second guy is trying to access, it is already incremented, then it will increment. So it comes like 1 2 3. It's like comes 1 2 3. Okay. Static methods. Your main method is a static method, public static void. The static method is belong to class level rather than object level. Static method can be invoked. I mean, you can call the static methods without creating an object. Your static method will access only the static variables. Non-static variables, it cannot be accessed. Okay, static method can access the static data members and can change the value of it, but it cannot access the static non-static variables. You can have a static method like change something. We have change here, so you can change here. It allows the only college. You cannot change the roll number here. You cannot access the name here. Why? Because those are not a static variables. Only college can be accessed here. Only college can be accessed there because it's a static method. Inside the static method, you can access only static members only. Okay, to call this change method in this case, to call the change method in this case, you no need to create an object. You no need to create an object, but you have something called display. To call the display, you have to create an object. Let's look at here. Student 9 dot change. I didn't create an object. I directly called it by using class name. But to call the display, you are saying S1, S2, S3. Correct? Are you guys able to follow? Sunil, Srinivas,
Yes.
Supreet, Devashish. I know Akash is from the Java background. He
Yes.
can easily understand that. But Srikanth, Suman, are you guys able to follow?
Yes.
Okay. And there's a method level, and
Yes.
so we got, here multiple examples are there. Please try all these example. Okay, so you can easily have, and class level. So normal classes you cannot have a static classes, but inner class. What is the inner class? The class inside the class. Let's say I'm creating one more class here. Like this. So the parent, the first, the top level class cannot be any class. Okay, any class which you are declaring outside the class. So let's say this class, or you can take this class also. Okay, you cannot declare static here. You cannot declare static there. What it is telling? Illegal modifier for the class this demo. Only public, abstract, final are permitted. The static is not permitted here. Why? Because it's a top level class, outer class. It's called outer class. The same thing I can do here. The same thing I can do here. So this is called inner class. Class inside the class is called inner class. but I cannot also do here. Okay, I can also, so any outer class, okay, it's a parent or child, no matters. You cannot declare static for outer classes. See, legal modifier for this. Understand, guys? Only inner classes, not to worry about the inner classes. So it's actually is not part of our no Java course, not to worry about it. Inner classes is something is different. Inner classes can have abstract, private also. It can have, there are so many, you don't need to specify the name for the inner classes. There are so many things are there, you not to worry about it at the time being. But if you are really interested to understand the inner classes, you can go ahead and have a look at the what is inner classes.
So Ravi, this main class like public static void main, that will be a static class or?
It's not a static class, that's a static method.
But okay.
You're talking about this main method?
Yes, yes.
The main method is there where? In this demo only? Insert this demo only? You cannot have a, see, irrespective of outer class means this, inner class means inside the class. Outer class cannot be a static. Outer class cannot be a static. Very simple. Outer class cannot be static. Okay?
Yes.
So let's look at next thing. So static block. What is a static block? The block of statements you are writing. Okay, let me explain you within a program, then we'll easily understand first. Yeah, SIB demo. SIB means static installation block. Let me explain here what is a static installation block. Static, this is the static block. If I write like this is the static block. If I write like this, it is instance installation block. IIB, instance installation block. If I write like this, static installation block. Okay, let's say here. Okay, inside the static, let's try to look at, I'm trying to access the name. Can I able to do that? Cannot make a static reference to a non-static field name. You cannot access the non-static in the static as we discussed. Am I able to access the college name? Which is the static? Yes, I am able to. IIT Madras. I'm just taking random name, guys, so don't worry about it. But here I can take a name equal to, I can take name equal to Java. I can take ID or roll number. I can take roll number equal to 100. I can take college name. I can also access the college name. I can also access the college name in the instance installation block. In the instance installation block. Okay. Now, let me make you understand when this will call and when this will call. Okay. Static references, static area or static block will be called at the time of class load. So what is the class load? So when you compile the code, right, when you say Java C and you will give the compile code, but this is the tool, no? In the tool we're directly using run as Java program and something we are doing, right? Because it's a tool, so we are doing that. But if you don't have a tool, how will you do? If you don't have a tool, how we will do? We'll do such a way that Java C
Java C
and
class.
program name, correct? .java. As soon as you execute this command, first it loads the class into a memory, memory. While loading only, your static area will be executed. It is get executed only once in a life of a class. Static, not only this guys, all the static, even static variable also only once, only one memory, right? The static reference, the static area or static block will get loaded or will get called only once in a life of it. But your IIB will be get called how many number of objects you create, those many number of times it will get create. Let's look at a simple example here. This we should understand, no, who is calling when. That's why sys out. Okay, that's why sys out. So let me have a constructor also. Let me have two different type of constructors. So we can show with the single constructor also, but let me have guys, you no need to type, guys. Okay, you no need to type like this. So you no need to type like this. What you can do, remove, right click, source, generate constructor using fields, and you can select what are the fields you want. You just select them, and you can, if you want generate a comments, you can generate. Just click OK. It'll just create automatically. You don't need to worry. So the super, if you want, you can keep super, or if you don't want, you can remove it. Okay, you don't need to sit and type. You can just generate it. Okay. Let's look at here. I'll just finish this example, then we'll leave for the day. In the main method, I'll call two objects only. I'll just create two objects, nothing else. I create only two objects. What happened? Okay, we have a string and a reverse. Okay. Okay, let's try to look at. I'm going to execute this program. Try to understand output. I am from SIB. How many times it get called?
One time.
Only one. But I am from IIB. How many times it is called?
2 times.
Why 2 times? Because I have two objects. So when you have a
So every time object created, it will get,
yes,
program will be loaded again.
yep. Not program, this IIB, this block will be loaded.
Okay.
This block will be loaded. But static block will be loaded in the only once in the life of a class load. Class will load only once, no, into memory. Class will load every object? Guys, how many times the class will load?
One time.
Only one time. So it is not like every time you create an object it will load, right? Only once the class will be loaded. So that's why your static thing has been loaded only once, but a non-static thing has been called multiple times. Your SIB only once, your IIB in the constructor, zero constructor, first object. So before calling this, you get called IIB, then constructor, then IIB, second constructor. If you create a multiple objects, you create two more objects. Let's look at. I'm creating two more objects. Okay, here I'm saying instead of Java, I'll say Hadoop. So no difference because I'm not doing anything. So it's really no matter what I'm doing, but I'm just showing you how this SIB and IIB is calling. Okay, I'm not showing you how I'm changing the values and all. See, the SIB is called only once, IIB because 4 times is get called. Why? 4 objects. Your constructor also get called 4 times. Your IIB also get called 4 times. Understand, guys? Understand? Any doubts? Sunil, Supreet, Suman, Srinivas, Srikanth, all. Devashish, Raghu. It's clear, right? So let's go ahead and look at the document. So you guys can have a look at this document. So you can easily understand. So can we execute a program without main method? Yes. One of the way is static block, but previous version of the JDK is not in JDK 1.7. So it is possible. This is also possible. Let's see, no. You don't need to copy, but I'm just lazy, so I'm copying the same code. So you can create your own class. But
In real time also there is no main.
no. Real time. If it is a core Java application, surely it will be having a main method. And if it is a web application, you no need to have a main method.
Main.
Okay. But from the tool we cannot call this, guys, because tool is required. Tool always look for the main method, so we don't have a main method to call. So if you guys can try it, write like this. Try to execute from your terminal saying the Java C and the program name, and it will get executed. Okay, so take it as an exercise and try it. It can be possible. Without that, you can create. It's possible. You can do that. Okay, that's about the static.
Okay.
And if you see in the course, I mean not in the course, in the content. This keyboard we have done this. Covariant return type, you don't need to worry. Covariant return type is nothing but written in the parent type. You can, if you look at that, so instance installation block also we just finished. IIB, which is nothing but IIB. This one, if you see here, which is nothing but IIB. We just finished this. Okay, and the final keyword, we'll talk about the final keyword tomorrow. I mean next class onwards. The final keyword and the static and abstraction, so inherit an interface, and we will discuss about these things. Okay, so now you guys familiar with the Java, right? So I think I can show you, a little advanced things. So now whatever we have looked at is very basic, and if you guys are familiar with the small programs, I see that I'm getting the responses from you, so I understand that you guys understand the basic things. Now next class onwards we will see some advanced ones.